What's up? Welcome back to the Tamika Hall Radio Show and to the Tamika Hall Experience. For those of you that are watching us live, I'm here with the beautiful Shanta Atkins. Curls popping, lips popping. What? How are you doing today?
I'm doing so good. Just enjoying the sunshine out here in LA.
Okay, because like the sun is not shining here in Philadelphia today. It was shining yesterday, but it's not shining today. So I'm jealous because you look sun-kissed and everything. Like I'm jealous. I'm really
out here tanning, sis. We out here tanning.
Man. Well, what is the weather like? Was it hot? Is it,
It's about, let me see, like 70 or so? Yeah. 70, 80s? Yeah.
That's beautiful.
I'm grateful because, I usually live in Chicago and the weather is not the same there. Okay. So
yeah.
I'm very grateful.
Well, I'm jealous and you look beautiful. And I'm
Thank
excited
you.
to have you here on the Tamika Hall Experience. And I'm excited. We're going to be talking about music ministry and the things that you do with your nonprofit organization. I mean, it's like, we know you. And I feel like we all feel like, first of all, let me ask you this. What is it like to be on an international hit show, walking around and everybody thinks that they know you, like for real? Like, what is that really like?
I mean, not everybody knows, but I will say this, when it's a little weird because people are going to notice you, all the time. You're not always like prepared for that. So it's just like, oh yeah, okay. Hey, I love you too. Didn't take a picture? No, but I love you. I guess I didn't look at it as an international show, huh? I guess it was.
Okay, because it's everywhere. I mean, do people run up to you and they're like, Shantae, what up? Like, they know your name and like that, or you're just kind of like, are you gracious and you're just like, hello, nice to meet you. What up? Like,
I do say hello, or sometimes if they catch me off guard, I'll be like, uh-oh.
I've always just kind of wanted to know that from somebody that would just be real about it, because I mean, sometimes I think that we as people, on one hand, you want people to know who you are. I mean, like that's great, but I'm sure sometimes it can feel a little bit invasive. And so, but you have not lost just the fact that you're down to earth and humble and all that good stuff. And I love it.
Yeah, I just feel like I live on earth. So that's what it be. I know that like my personality, like I'm very direct, I have a abrasive personality. And I think that sometimes because people have you on a pedestal and they have this perspective of you, they assume that your personality has to do with something they're doing, or you know what I mean? They don't realize like, oh no, that's just the type of person you are. So I feel like I've had to deal with that, people expecting my personality to be one way because of, how they see me. And it's just kind of like, nope, this is my personality. Yeah. I'm still, you know what I mean, a human being. And so it's funny, I was telling somebody the other day, I can't censor or conform who I am to meet the needs of people who hold me at a high standard. I'm grateful to have influence in all of that. But I think that sometimes people don't know how to maintain who they are in the midst of all that. And that's very important. It's very important.
So like, let's be real. I don't take you as being abrasive. I mean, I definitely I can see you being direct, but like, do you feel like you're actually abrasive, or you're just who you are and you're comfortable in your own skin? You know what I mean?
I am, but I can be abrasive.
Child, me too. Like I can be. I wouldn't say that that's just like who I am, but honey, indeed. And do you ever find, because you're a businesswoman, and so, and we can't deny that you're beautiful. So oftentimes when you are a female and you're beautiful, when you're in a male-dominated sphere, or,
you already know.
Yeah, like it can be difficult to kind of navigate those things. So how do you handle that? And how do you handle that and walk away with not caring whether or not people think you're the angry Black woman? You see, I had to shake my fake curls.
Yes, no, I got, you know what? These fake Black curls. Honey. No, I think that I will say this. I probably do a little bit too much over explaining, just because I want people to understand different personalities. You have type A personalities, you have type B personalities, you have all these different types of personalities. And I think that, like you said, this is a male-dominated world. It's okay for men to be aggressive, or you know what I mean, or abrasive or whatever. But when we use those terms, it's almost like, no, you're supposed to be this way or that way. But when you're thrown into certain environments, you have to know how to handle yourself. You have to know how to exert yourself. Not overexert yourself. You have to know how to, exert is not the right word, but you have to know how to assert. Like you
There
have
it
to be
is.
very,
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
assertive. I'm like, exert, Shanta, that's not the word, sis. And you're a teacher, get it together. So
Honey, it's
yeah,
all right. We're on
you have to really,
quarantine.
yes, I mean, it's a lot going on. But yeah, you have to know how to assert yourself. And then if you're very, like, I'm a very bold person,
Mm.
right? And so I think that people take that in a certain way. But just to speak to kind of what you were saying, it is a male-dominated world. And I think that if you have a personality, like mine, people do misinterpret that and make it something that is not often. So.
Yeah. And, I think that it is important to just be comfortable in your own skin. And like you said, I have not always been assertive. Have you always been that way? Have you always been bold, or is that something that you grew into over time? Because I just kind of came into this as I'm about to turn 40, and I'm like, baby, y'all not going to talk to me any kind of way,
So, so I think, so I'll say this, growing up in a house, with all women and being the youngest, you have to know how to, fend for yourself. Okay. You have to have a voice, because if you will get shut down all the way down. So I think that I've always had boldness, but I went through periods where I was very shy and fearful, but it would be like I was very bold in one area and completely the opposite in another area. So I feel like I've balanced out. Like, I feel like that boldness is across the board, and I've gained a lot more balance just in how I approach things and how I approach people. But I used to be very abrasive, but it's balanced now. So I'm
Good
just, thank you,
stuff,
Lord.
boo. Good stuff.
Yes.
So let's get to the music. So you just released a new single, Made Up My Mind.
Yes.
So talk to me about that, because it's very different from God Sees. So
yes, God Sees.
give me like your thought process on Made Up My Mind.
So the song was recorded 5 years ago, actually. Initially, yes. So I started writing it in 2014. I started recording it in 2015. And with that song, I literally was driving down the street. And while I was driving, I started getting this right. So I got the melody. So I'm like, okay, let me pull over. Let me try to see what these words are going to be. I had like the timing off. So I was like, I have to find somebody who's good at keeping the timing so they can get me on beat, So then
So I'm just only connected to like some of like the huge giants of the industry. Somebody gonna help me, right? Y'all gonna help me.
Somebody.
Yeah.
So I ended up trying to, just have people listen to it. Like, okay, what do you hear when you hear this or whatever? I was like, just give me any kind of beat so I can try to get the thoughts out. So a lot of times for me, the way that I work is I don't really work in the studio. I'm usually like at a church. There's a musician there. I'm getting all the ideas out, or completing the ideas, because sometimes I'll get the ideas randomly. Like I said, I was driving. So I set a time, kind of hash it out, like, okay, let me bring this, together. Actually, one of the other producer on the song decided to have like a live band. And I was just like, well, how are we going to get all that done? And so he decided musically to get the live band. I wrote the lyrics, myself, but it really came together like piece by piece. It was like, okay, we're going to do this. Okay, we're going to add that. Okay, you're going to change this. Okay, just all of that. And I like editing, and like I'm really analytical. So I like to take things through processes over and over and over again to see how I can perfect it. And so just for this particular song, it was just a different vibe because I worked with a bunch of people with God Sees You. It was just me. I wrote it, I sang it, I produced it, like everything. So I literally did everything by myself with God Sees You. Versus this song, I had, I was working with another producer, and then I had, a band. So it was just more involved with more people. So I think that's how you get all the other elements.
I mean, it's definitely like a big band type of live song.
Yeah.
So the fact, like the way we hear it, I almost couldn't hear it another way. So I definitely think that was like a smart choice. Because like when I hear it, I'm like, it just makes you want to like throw your head back and stuff like that. And I've heard like a lot of Motown influence. Was that a thought process in there, or you just were kind of like,
no, I think it just kind of comes out. I'm not like, I don't go in, like when I do a song, I'm not like, oh, I want it to sound like this genre. I'm not really good with genres, if I'm being honest. Like afterwards, I was like, oh, it's Motown feel, but I didn't go into it thinking that, like, oh yeah. But just the ideas just kind of come, like just even little things like because I do all the backgrounds as well on my music. And so, like the little parts, like goodbye, like all those different things, they just came to me in the moment. So I'm a very in the moment person. And I think because I'm like prophetic in nature, I'm constantly creating. So I'm constantly used to creating in the moment or freestyling, if you will. That's what people are more accustomed to. But I'm more of like a freestyler. So like, even with God Sees You, like I didn't even know there was going to be a song. I was like, I don't know if it's a song or spoken word. I went in there, I had the vocals, and I just kind of let it come. And so a lot of that song was freestyle too, or singing prophetically, whatever.
So, I mean, have you, in coming to know who you are musically, I love hearing about your process because I think a lot of, especially indie artists out there, find themselves to connect to somebody that they think knows more than they do. Like I know I did back in the day. And then you have people that are telling you, well, I mean, people used to say to me, Tamika, all you write is worship music. And I'm like, well, so does William McDowell. Like, you know what I mean? I'm like, who cares?
Yeah.
Like, that's what I want to write. Have you ever had to fight for who you are as an artist? And if so, like, where did your strength come from to do that?
Yeah. So my fight started with me. Because I didn't know who am I as an artist. I don't know. I know I could sing, right?
Yeah.
After my dad passed, I was like, oh, maybe I can write. But I'm still in the process, I'll say, of discovering who I am just as an artist. Because the ideas that I get are so different. I do have some songs that are more CCM sounding or worshipy, or you know what I'm saying, or the acapella or the big band. So I feel like I'm very diverse in the way that I write and what I hear and the sounds that I want to hear. So I can't just say, I always knew that. I didn't. And so I think that it's a process. You learn, you grow, you find out different things about yourself. Your writing changes based on the experiences that you have, because I'm a different person now than I was before my dad passed. I'm a different person now than I was before I, experienced being in love. I'm a different person now than I am before when I was working in a different field or before I had traveled. I feel like you find out more and more about yourself every single day. And so for me, it's about me just continuing to find out the different sides and of myself and really bring it all together to, have something really creative and beautiful to present.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And in discovering your voice, you're allowing us to get a little bit of your voice with the Shanta Atkins podcast. So
yes,
talk to us about you being on the air too.
I love that segue. Yes. So I love talking.
Me too.
Sometimes.
What? Can you tell? Like, right?
You feel me?
Yeah.
So I last year I was like, okay, I had an opportunity to have a segment on a radio station in November of 2018, and I remember a long time ago, like years ago, I was like, oh, I want to be on radio. I remember saying that, right? And so, but it just I kind of forgot about it. It went to the back of my mind. And so when I got that opportunity, the person who had connected me with the radio station was like, you should keep it going. So I was like, I don't know what I would do, but then I saw like this podcasting thing, and so I prayed and I was just like, how should I do it? How should it be? And so I just started it. I got Anchor FM. I started that. I worked with someone. They put it on all the other platforms. I got a visual and I was like, all right, we're going to do this. And so I just kind of got on and started talking. I know that some people, their process is very methodical and, but like I was saying, I'm very spontaneous, very in the moment. I could be like, I'm here. Let me find a room and record what's in my mind right now before I lose it, So it's very spontaneous. Some of it is pre-planned, but majority of it is just kind of spontaneous. And it's just for it's a place for me to like release my thoughts, feelings, opinions, what I believe about the Word of God, all of those different things. And so I just feel like my podcast, you get to see the other side of me, other sides of me.
And see, the beautiful thing about a podcast is because it doesn't have to be scripted. And there are a lot of people that will try to script their podcast. And I know with me, I do my podcast just when I feel like it. And like you said, it's like when I want to talk, I'm going to talk to you. So you get it raw. I might talk to you for 60 minutes. I might talk to you for 3, but it's just how I feel at that moment. So it's beautiful. I love it. Now, one of the other things, before I let you go, Melodies for Missions. You have your own nonprofit organization. And so talk to us about that.
Yes, so it was initially Love Changes Lives, but we switched it to Melodies for Missions. I'm now incorporated, so I finally got my status and all that. Yay! But I have been functioning since 2012. I started it because when I was working in group home facilities and residential facilities with young girls who have been abused and different things like that, I I really, I really had a heart for just young girls and young women and men and people who had just been suffering or were mentally ill and suicidal and different things like that. And so I started this. I didn't look at it as a ministry, but I realized afterwards, like, oh, it's like a ministry, where I'm able to go into different residential facilities where majority of church people don't really go, to serve. And I was able to do music programs for them, run vacation Bible school, different things that we grew up having that a lot of kids who don't have parents or kids who are not raised in church, they don't get. So being able to help them experience that was great. Also talking them through a lot of things. I did a lot of like mentoring and counseling with young girls, and some young men as well. I do different prayer calls. I do mission trips, and, all of that was under Melodies for Mission. So it was just me for a long time, just functioning. But I was like, I knew that God had given that to me. And I knew that there was so much purpose in it. So I just kept going, kept pushing. I would go to different places and minister different different regions and things like that. Whether it's singing or teaching or preaching or praying for people or just sitting and listening. Like, sometimes people don't understand the power of listening. And so I was able to really work with a lot of people who had mental illness, and that really opened the door for me to, become the mental and emotional health advocate that I am just today, and connect with larger organizations to really help end stigmas and stuff like that within the Christian community and within the African American community.
It's crazy because we really do have a lot in common. And I promise I'm not like, girl, you my cousin, that type of way, but we really do have a lot in common. You said you're a teacher. Up until recently, I also was a teacher. I've been in education.
Wow.
Yeah, for 14 years. I taught dance, creative writing, theater, and Spanish. I speak Spanish. So I was teaching English as a second language. But there was a moment where I actually took the arts into those facilities for young girls. And you're right. A lot of times they're the forgotten group. The group homes. And yeah, I did that for a while, and they loved it. And there's nothing like being able to take music and take something creative to that group. And you're right, just listening to them, I was raised in the church too. So, when you're raised in the church, it's a whole new world when you listen to what these babies come from. And I remember just being like, I would not even know what to do if I was in your situation, because I never even experienced what they had to go through. So I think that's dope that you're going out there. So how can people connect with you and help you with Melodies for Missions? Because I know you said you started by yourself, but now you're expanding. So how can people sew into that and help you with that?
Yeah, you can go to my website, shantaeatkins.com, and there's a link where you can donate. And it's so crazy because I was really thinking a lot about just the organization today. Like, okay, what are the things that I want to still try to do? Because a lot of things were canceled, because of the lockdown and all of that. So how can I still utilize it? So I'll probably do more of the online, more things online as far as mentorship and different things like that. And then look to planning the, mission trips and things like that in 4 nations next year. So you can donate. You can go on shantaeatkins.com. You can find me on Instagram, Twitter. It's Shanta Atkins. On Facebook, facebook.com/Shanta Atkins.
Smart marketing.
All those different places.
Smart
Absolutely.
marketing. Yeah.
Yes, we were all the same. Consistency.
Yeah, makes sense. I love it.
Absolutely.
Shanta, you've been a delight. Thank you so much for just taking your time to just hang out with me and to deal with all my craziness and loudness. I love it. Loud, you're real chill. It's great. Everybody can't handle Tamika, but you did. Yeah.
Yes. And you weren't even that much. Look, you chilling. I'm like, you are who you are.
I'm going to record that. So every time somebody tells me I'm too much, I'm gonna be like, Shanta Atkins said I wasn't even that much. So
you're not, period.
Yeah, I'm not that much. So, but I appreciate you. And, we already played God Sees You coming into this, but we're getting ready to take them out with Made Up My Mind. And so thank you all so much. Listen, y'all, I want you to stay connected to Shanta. Make sure you connect with her. So into Melodies for Missions. And we're about to go out with Made Up My Mind. Keep it locked. This is the Tamika Hall Radio Show or the Tamika Hall Experience. And you guys be blessed.